Chances are you've got a bottle of this stuff in your house right now. Acetaminophen, you probably know it as Tylenol, is one of the most common, most trusted drugs out there for pain and fever. But this everyday medicine, it has a dark side, a hidden and potentially fatal secret. So let's pull back the curtain on it. All right, so let's kick things off with a question, a really specific one. After someone takes a dangerous amount of acetaminophen, when does that telltale pain, the one in the upper right part of their belly, when does that actually start? Believe me, the answer is way more important than you might think. And look, this isn't just some medical trivia question. Getting the timing on this right is literally the difference between a full recovery and a tragic outcome. So what is this hidden danger? Well, it turns out an acetaminophen overdose isn't just one single event. Nope, it's a process. It unfolds in 4 distinct, predictable stages. And if you want to understand the danger, you have to understand these stages. So here it is. This is the roadmap of what happens. It's a timeline that plays out across 4 stages, starting in the first 24 hours and sometimes going on for weeks. Let's jump in at the very beginning, stage 1. Okay, let's talk about that first day. This part is so important, mainly because it's designed to fool you. The real damage, the serious stuff, it's all happening behind a mask of what seems like really minor symptoms, or sometimes no symptoms at all. All right, we're in stage I. The clock has officially started ticking the second that toxic dose is taken. And for the next 24 hours, something really sneaky is going on inside the body. And just look at these symptoms. I mean, nausea, vomiting, just feeling kind of blah. You'd write that off as a stomach bug or the flu, right? But here's the scariest part. A lot of the time, there are 0 symptoms. The person feels totally fine. And this right here, this is the whole trick. It's the ultimate deception. On the outside, you might just feel a little off, or you might feel absolutely nothing. But on the inside, a toxic chain reaction has already kicked off in the liver. The damage is starting, and it's completely silent. But that quiet period doesn't last forever. Eventually, the body just can't hide what's going on anymore. The liver, which has been taking a beating, finally starts to send out some very clear, very loud distress signals. And that brings us to stage 2. We're now somewhere between 1 and 3 days after the overdose. And right here, in this window, is where we finally get the answer to that question we started with. And there it is, the right upper quadrant abdominal pain, that specific warning sign. It finally shows up between 24 and 72 hours later. That pain is coming directly from the liver as it becomes inflamed and seriously damaged. But you have to understand something absolutely crucial about this pain. This quote nails it, that pain isn't the beginning of the problem. It is a late warning. By the time you feel it, major liver damage is already well underway. And from this point on, things can go downhill, and they can go downhill fast. We're now in stage 3, happening about 3 to 4 days in. This is where the liver damage hits its absolute peak, and the person's life is literally on the line. The signs of stage 3 are severe. The body's whole system is thrown out of whack. We're talking jaundice, where the skin and eyes turn yellow, the blood stops clotting properly, and other organs like the kidneys and even the brain start to shut down. This is a full-blown medical crisis. Okay, so finally, we hit stage 4. This can start around day 4 and stretch on for more than 2 weeks. This is the end of the story, and it can go in one of 2 very, very different directions. And at this point, you're at a fork in the road. There are only 2 ways this story ends. For those who make it through the crisis of stage 3, the liver can actually start to heal itself. It's a slow, gradual recovery. But for others, the damage is just too severe, and it progresses to complete liver failure and, well, death. Okay, that timeline is pretty grim, I know. But here's the good news. There is a solution. There is a way to stop this, but it is an absolute race against time, and the window to treat it effectively is shockingly, terrifyingly small. So who's the hero in this story? It's a compound called N-acetylcysteine, or just NAC for short. This stuff is a legitimate antidote. If you can get it into the system in time, it can slam the brakes on that toxic process and stop that catastrophic liver damage before it gets out of control. I want you to burn one number into your brain, just one. 8. 8 hours. 8 hours? Why is that the magic number? Well, this antidote, NAC, is at its absolute peak effectiveness if it's given within that tiny window. Now think back. 8 hours puts you smack in the middle of stage 1, the stage where you might just feel a little nauseous or you might feel perfectly fine. And this right here, this quote just ties it all together, doesn't it? The life-saving treatment works best long before the body's main alarm bell, that pain in your side, even has a chance to go off. You have to treat the problem before you can even really feel the problem. So here's the bottom line. The single most important thing to remember. The real danger of this incredibly common drug isn't the poison itself. It's the disguise. The danger is in how quiet, how deceptive, and how harmless it all feels right at the beginning, when that clock is ticking the loudest. It really makes you stop and think, right? If one of the most common medicines on the planet has a secret like this, what other stories are hiding in plain sight right inside your own medicine cabinet? Thanks for tuning in.